What's up guys, Kai here with TransformingGame.net, and today we are doing a deck profile for my top 8 Freedom Cup 2 deck profile, which is called Double Double, which if you look at the deck, if you look at the title of the video and we're wondering what the heck does that mean, it basically means that we're playing 12 double oranges. So yeah, so 12 double oranges is you're playing double the amount of double oranges, so yeah, that's the joke. But basically the way we're achieving that is we're playing all Decepticons and we're also playing a Night Racer. So for this character lineup specifically, we are playing Fangry with Kreb, we're playing Night Racer with her Stratagem, Stealth Mission, and then we're playing Raider Night Flight and Tailwind. And we're also playing Villainous Spotlight. So this will be 9. I forgot the math, but 9, 14, 7. So that'll be 21. And then 22, 23. And then that gives us 2 extra star cards. So we have 2 star cards, 2 star cards, and then 2 actual star cards. So that means that's how we're able to run 12 double oranges, and that's kind of the point of the deck. Fangry is just really useful because of he's 2 bodies, so he keeps you at 5 wide without actually being 5 wide. And then Night Racer, she's basically a big block of stats that enables the stealth missions, obviously, but she also she's been able to survive to a wheel turn multiple times simply because after you swing at her, they don't really care to do anything to her because you have like way other relevant attackers, so she usually survives and is able to get in a second time, which is much nicer than Visper or Stormcloud. Even though they would swing for higher, they just don't get to swing again, and sometimes swinging again matters enough, or she has enough stats to where the opponent just tries to burn her out with something like Horrible or something. But yeah, that's the character lineup. Let's go into the deck profile. So we're playing 3 Improvised Shields, we're playing 3 Peace Through Tyranny, we're playing 3 Mounted Missiles, and we're playing 3 Even the Score. Look at that. Look at all this disgusting double oranges. Yeah, and basically the deck is able to swing for big exorbitant amounts of numbers. So bold is one of the things you want to be able to use. So we have some choice bold cards that I don't think I would normally consider otherwise outside of, like, say, an ASP deck. But ASP itself is still fine, but the deck itself, it has problems with Quake, but we could talk about that in a bit later. For the rest of the upgrades, we're playing 3 Grenade Launcher, 3 Power Punch, 3 Sturdy Javelin, 1 Backup Beam, 3 Bashing Shield, and 2 Hollow Matter Projectors. Self-explanatory. You have 12 double oranges, so you're probably going to swing for a good chunk of damage with the bold, as well as the Backup Beam, which is why we're running Backup Beam over Scoundrel's Blaster. Scoundrel's Blaster is definitely a suitable replacement, though, if you want the static number instead, which it does come up sometimes, especially with end hostilities. Sturdy Javelin, just really strong. You were playing Airstrike, so there's no reason not to play triple Bashing Shield to pop off annoying armors, or to flip and give your Airstrike patrols +3. And then Hollow Matter Projector. You kind of have to run Hollow Matter Projector because, 1, the deck has a bad Quake matchup, as I mentioned earlier, but also your opponent, if they realize what they're supposed to do against the Airstrike deck, they're supposed to burn Tailwind as quickly as possible, because he only has 8 health, so it takes like 2 to 3 turns depending on how lucky they get with Camming Crashers or whatnot. So eventually you will have to swing the Tailwind. If they get lucky enough, they might be able to force you to swing with the Tailwind earlier, and then they can KO them. So we're playing the Hollow Matters because not only is it +2 for Airstrike, but to protect Tailwind. But also, if they aren't targeting Tailwind and they're trying to hit like Fangry or something, you just put it on Fangry and basically just start disrupting their plans and trying to keep your board as wide as possible with that. So yeah, that is the upgrades. For the actions, we are playing 3 wedge formation, 3 focus fire, 2 supercharge, 2 Cayman crash, 1 mission briefing, 1 counter espionage, and 1 smelt. These are staples in airstrike decks. Pretty easy +3s that are pretty playable. You don't have to always play them, but being able to just constantly filter your decks for holo matters is very important, as well as your other upgrades. Only 2 supercharge because I ended up cutting a 3rd one for the counter espionage because you need to hit end hostilities game 1 or else you could get blown out basically. But yeah, 2 Cayman crash for burn, and then 1 mission briefing. The idea for the mission briefing is because you don't have enough time to play both holomatter projector and pocket processor, which was originally what this slot was. So I ended up switching out the mission briefing for the pocket processor, because basically turn 1 you just flip Night Racer, and then turn 2 you flip Night Flight, and then that'll give you your pep talk, and then it's basically like you played what's it called, the pocket processor, but you get the draw 2 immediately, and then you could still play a weapon or whatever that you draw off that. Counter espionage, of course, and then smelt. Smelt has actually been really strong in testing and proved to be very strong in this tournament. It's popped off. It's hit quite a number of erratic energy grenades. It's hit some of the weapons that people want to stay. So something like our disruptor, or say enhanced power cell or something like that. It's been able to hit that pretty well. Things like that, and being able to flip the double blue on defense has actually helped Night Flight live like 1 or 2 attacks too many. Like it's insane when you flip one of this or backup beam on Night Flight or Tailwind's defense, and then they live, and then your opponent has to sink another attack into it, and it's just too good. So but yeah, smelt itself is also very strong because not a lot of upgrades are sticking in this format. So there's that. So there's also the problem of so you're playing, what is this? You're 5 wide. Oh gosh, everything's falling apart. All right, so you're also 5 wide, but there's also the problem that you will lose to 6 wide decks like a Quake or an actual 6 wide deck. So like opposing airstrike patrol decks can be a problem as well. Like top 16 I played against Airstrike Horrible, and that was very hard to play game 1. So what I had to do, and what this deck ended up doing most of the tournament, it can actually morph into a wider deck, which is something that not a lot of decks can do, if ever. But so basically what you do is you side out these 2, and then you side out all of these doubles, and then you get to side in the Storm Cloud. So that makes you initially 5 wide, but 6 wide because of the Kreb. And basically with that, the general idea is you swap those cards out for Belligerence, Precision Fire, and then these enhanced enforcement batons and hold the line. These are generally just like the if generic swaps for the doubles, but this was supposed to be all out attack, but I ended up choosing Precision Fire as an additional direct damage option, and it kind of worked out in the end. I think all the times that I drew Precision Fire if it was all out attack, I might have been able to win the game sooner. I'll probably have to actually not chicken out and play the all out attack next time if I do play this deck. But yeah, this is basically just an extra orange, and in order to keep your orange count the same, as well as whatnot. So usually this card ends up being slotted out for, like, say, Tripwire if you're playing against the Airstrike Mirror. Just being able to draw a card that blows them out, as well as being able to kill Tailwind ASAP, is just too strong. And it can do a little something with the heads too. Usually doesn't come up unless it's against an Airstrike head Titan Master deck. But and then also for the control decks, we're playing an additional Counter Espionage and an additional Decipher. Decipher I didn't really care all that much about. I really just want the Counter Espionage, but I don't want them to have Counter Espionage and then snipe both or all three Counter Espionages out of my hand with their Counter Espionage. So I ended up mixing it up with Decipher. It never came in because I never really played against a blue deck that well, no, that's not true. I did side it in, but I never saw it or decided to pick it up. But yeah, it's basically there so that I don't get blown out by an opponent's Counter Espionage. And then Hold the Line, still really strong. I kind of wish I played it main board, but I just didn't have room. Enforcement Batons is just a generic +3. That's all it really is. I just wanted the utility of popping a weapon if it came up, which it didn't, but +3 is still really good. Belligerence, I sided it in a few times. I ended up winning against Brian Blair. V Jackson, basically, with the Belligerence, and I think I did. I had it in hand for a long time. I don't remember if I played it or if I didn't need to, but yeah, it did its job. It gave me an quote unquote auto win against the blue deck, but I kind of don't know if you need it anymore, because you can just play more orange black and whatnot, and it kind of gets blown out by an hostilities anyway. So you can also just blow out the hostilities with the Counter Espionage. So I don't really know if this is something that we need to play, but I think just keeping it there is just the safer answer. So alright, so that is the deck. Let me know in the comments what you think, because this was a lot of fun. There was a lot. I played it specifically in the Octagon Freedom Cup 2 tournament instead of the Vector Sigma tournament. I actually played a different deck in that one. You will see the deck profile on that later, probably sometime this week, depending on how lazy I am or am not. But yeah, this deck has a harder time against Quake because, as you can imagine, being 5 wide or 4 wide is problematic when you're just taking 4 across the board constantly. So I expected not as much Quake in the Freedom Cup, and that was true for the most part until my top 8 match, which I did play Quakes before, but against Eugene, I believe. I don't remember. I believe it was Eugene, but he ended up 2-0ing me. Yeah, it was just way too hard to come back from. But yeah, that's the double deck. Shout outs to everyone who did well in the Freedom Cup. Shout outs to Jason Crutchfield for hosting that tournament and just that crazy prize support. And like it's insane, the prize support that he was willing to put up before the game was even canceled. So like, yeah. But if you guys like this content, be sure to subscribe. Be sure to like or give a comment to give us some feedback or what you didn't like about the deck, whatever. And this was Kai, and I'll see you guys later.